The winter weather system has come and gone, but the danger is far from over. Good evening, everyone. I'm Gerald Owens.
And I'm Deborah Morgan. If you have been out, you know just how treacherous those roads are. The accidents are mounting.
Our live team coverage continues tonight. We have crews out there on the roads to show you the conditions firsthand. Well, let's begin with Chief Meteorologist Greg Fishel. He is in the Weather Center to break it all down for us. Greg?
Yeah, and Gerald, it's just a waiting game now. We know it's below freezing. We know the precipitation is over, so it's just a matter of waiting for the earth to turn and so we can see the sun again and get things warmed up tomorrow and melt all this stuff away. If we take a look at the winter weather advisory as it stands right now, and this has been oscillating a little bit back and forth, but basically from the North Carolina-Virginia border down to Fayetteville and over to Clinton, and a lot of this is simply because these areas already have treacherous roads and there's nothing to, or no reason to believe that that's going to change tonight, with temperatures remaining below freezing. Now, if we take a look at the projected temperatures here, you can see that we're in the 20s to low 30s, and it looks like, if anything, temperatures may drop a degree overnight, but the cloud cover will pretty much prevent that from changing much. And then, as we head toward tomorrow noon, with at least partly sunny skies, temperatures should be well above freezing everywhere by noon, and the goal tomorrow is not only to melt this stuff, but to evaporate it before we get back below freezing tomorrow night. We think temperatures have a good chance of at least getting into the low 40s for highs tomorrow, if not a little bit warmer. And then again, the goal is to get it all dried out before we get back below freezing tomorrow night. And even bigger warming trends are coming down the road, and I do mean big warming trends. We'll talk about exactly how warm it's likely to get next week, and if there is any other wintry weather on the horizon. All that coming up in just a bit. Back to you.
All right, Greg, thank you. WRAL's Adam Owens has been on the road since mid-afternoon, and conditions have gotten a lot worse since then. He and photographer Mark Simpson are carefully navigating the roadways to bring us the latest conditions. And Adam, first of all, where are you now and how are the conditions there?
Yeah, we're on Lynn Road in Raleigh, Gerald, and you can get a look from our live camera here in our vehicle and see all that fell earlier in the day today, all of that ice, all that became slush on the ground. I mean, with these low temperatures, it has stayed put. As a matter of fact, in some areas, it's turned into a sheet of ice. It is still with us and still extremely treacherous out there. The going has to be very slow if you go at all. The best bet is not to even attempt it. DOT crews have been busy trying to make roads as safe as possible. We've seen police and deputies be just as busy catching up to drivers who got all turned around in this mess. And this is what can happen if you try your luck in these conditions.
There is bad luck and there is Louis Mondragon's luck. He was in two wrecks on the same road minutes apart. First, his car went into a ditch on Old Stage Road. Friends who were with him worked to get it back out.
We were pushing the car back. I was in the driver's seat.
That's when Mondragon says another car slid and hit his car. His friends barely got out of the way in time.
They jumped because they were beside the road trying to get the car out. So they just screamed at each other like, yo, get out the way.
They were waiting 2 hours on the side of the road when we found them, continuing the bad luck streak. A ride that showed up to help also had trouble getting back on the road. There were wrecks on top of wrecks all around. Flashing blue lights marked spots where someone else left the road. And this wreck on Avent Ferry Road in Gorman Street, an SUV left all four wheels. It was turned on its side. Another SUV close by took a shot to the grill.
We slid and then we hit the mailbox and then we got into a bad crash.
Young Reagan Carpenter was in a particularly scary accident. She was on a bus with 20 other students from Northridge Elementary that crashed. It happened on a curvy section of Fox Road. Everyone was shaken up, but is expected to be okay. A yellow army of DOT trucks continued the fight all day, laying down salt and sand, focusing on the roads with the heaviest traffic. Still, several people spent their day explaining to an officer how their car ended up where it did.
You know, a lot of people out there, Gerald, are probably going to think, you know, I know it is very bad as far as conditions go on our neighborhood roads near our home and maybe some of the roads beyond there. But if I can just make it to one of those main roads, if they have plans to travel tonight. If I can just make it one of those main roads, I'm sure it will be okay. But the word I'd like to share tonight is that we've been on some of the main roads around here, and some of them are wide over in places. So it's really just not a safe bet.
Yeah, certainly it depends on where you are and where you think you have to go. If you can do it, just wait till tomorrow. Adam Owens live in Raleigh, traveling gently on those roads out there. Adam, we appreciate it. Thanks.
That winter system moved from west to east today, and that's what Ken Smith did, starting in Raleigh, drove down 64 to Rocky Mount, and he's seen several accidents along the way.
The driver of this truck here on I-95 just north of Highway 64 never made it to work but walked away from this wreck unharmed. His truck flipped on its side when he hit a slick spot and lost control of his vehicle. Earlier in the day, DOT crews tried keeping pace with the winter storm, spreading a sand and salt mix on major roadways like Highway 64. Now, this followed days of pre-treatment ahead of the storm designed to stop this slushy, wintry mix from sticking to roadways. Road maintenance crews tried to get to miles of major roadways, but even this ambulance driver experienced a brief spin out while getting off this exit ramp from Highway 64.
A lot of wrecks. Everybody needs to slow down.
Other drivers, though, weren't that fortunate. The driver of this SUV lost control on a slick, icy patch on I-95 South and ended up in the cables that line the highway. Now, the cables actually did the job they were designed to do, snaring the vehicle from crossing the median or bouncing back into traffic. How tough has it been for you guys?
It's not too bad right now. The later it gets, you know, things are going to start freezing over, and just the only thing I can tell you is people just need to slow down, take the time, everything will be all right.
Yeah, that's some good advice echoed by a lot of police officers we ran into tonight. I tell you, photographer Richard Atkins and I, when we made that trek east on Highway 64 where we are tonight, we decided to double back and head back toward the Triangle to see what the road conditions were like. I can tell you that the traffic is rather light out here this hour, and I think a lot of people are heeding our warnings tonight to stay off these roadways. DOT trucks, we just saw one a few minutes ago. They've been out all night treating these roadways to minimize any hazardous driving conditions tomorrow morning. Gerald and Deborah.
Yeah, they're hard at work. They will be throughout the night. Ken Smith live in Wake County. Thanks, Ken.
There were several accidents in Durham County today as well. On Andrew Avenue, a woman lost control on the icy road and flipped her SUV. She's okay. Moments before that, police responded to another accident and they were clearing the scene. The driver in that crash also got out okay, but by late afternoon, Durham law enforcement have responded to more than 80 accidents. Several more have been reported since then.
A major crash on I-95 caused by the ice is finally clear in Cumberland County, but not after causing some massive headaches. WRAL's Layla Santiago is live in Fayetteville with more on that crash that left the interstate at a standstill. Layla?
Well, the good news is all lanes are back open. You can actually see some of the traffic heading southbound on 95. Checked in with Highway Patrol. They tell me that still, though, that 95-301 area kind of still the trouble spot. I also spoke with a woman who had been driving for about 45 minutes. When she was right in this area, she said things got a little too slippery to handle. Coming in from Dillon, South Carolina, the Buick stopped here at the rail of an icy bridge on I-95. At the wheel, Helen Crosland says she started to slide.
My car turned and hit the rail on this side. And I said, oh my God. Then I was turned, and I hold my steering wheel and I hit that other rail, bam!
Her car now crashed. She called her daughter in Fayetteville.
She was screaming so hard, I couldn't really understand what she was saying.
That's because another car was coming.
Oh my God, that car coming at me, that car coming at me. And as soon as they hit the bridge, and then I said, oh my God.
Then another car.
And as I was getting out, this other little car, gray car, come off the bridge. I said, oh my God, looking at that's coming at me. Then he come on in front of me, went over there, and bam, bam, stopped right over there.
In total, 5 vehicles would slide off the road within minutes. One, a semi-tractor trailer.
It was smooth.
Officers already having a busy night had to shut down northbound lanes. Traffic was backed up for miles, all because of that deceiving bridge up ahead. And Helen Crosland, who you heard from in that story, says she was down here heading to Fayetteville because tomorrow is her birthday. So she was coming down here to celebrate with her daughter. She says she'll be celebrating that she is okay and nothing happened during this accident. All the others who were involved can say the same. No injuries for that accident.
Amazing to hear that, and we wish her a happy birthday. Wow, what a story she will remember on this birthday. Layla Santiago live in Cumberland County.
And a very animated narrative, too.
Oh, yeah.
She's great. The weather caused problems for travelers at RDU International. There were 20 cancellations today, and nearly every flight after 4 p.m. was delayed. That was mainly because of the issues at other airports, particularly Charlotte, Philadelphia, Chicago, and Detroit. Airport officials tell us flights should be on time tomorrow morning, but check your airline just to be sure. We'll continue to cover this winter weather overnight. We will have extended coverage in our morning newscasts. Join Bruce Mildorf, Kelsey Carlson, and Elizabeth Gardner from 6 to 9:30 tomorrow morning. Brian Schrader will also give us traffic updates. You can also get weather updates and road conditions on WRAL.com.
A quick programming note to tell you about. Due to the winter weather, The Young and the Restless will air tonight on WRAL at 1:37 a.m., so make sure you set your DVR. Coming up, in the middle of all this winter weather, a fire breaks out in an apartment complex in Raleigh, sending 6 people to the hospital and displacing dozens more. We'll have a live report. Greg?
All right, Deb, and the last time we checked the laws of thermodynamics, these kinds of temperatures don't do a whole lot to melt ice, and it doesn't appear like we're going to see improving conditions for several more hours, but there are better things coming down the road, and we'll let you know about those in more detail coming up.
Driving in icy conditions is one thing. Imagine having to run from a burning apartment building or fighting a fire in it.
Well, that's just what happened in Raleigh today. WRAL's Bo Minnick is live at the Mission Valley Apartments, where a fire only added to today's misery. Bo?
Deborah, tonight some of those residents still have not been allowed back into their apartments. In all, 6 people were taken to area hospitals, but as one resident told us, if it wasn't for one Raleigh police officer, things could have been a whole lot worse. With smoke pouring out of the Mission Valley apartments, all the residents could do is watch as some of their neighbors were wheeled out on stretchers.
I started hearing people scream, "Fire, fire." That's when I started to smell the smoke, and I opened my door and all the smoke just started coming, billowing through.
Eamon Fryer lives on the top floor of the building. Authorities say the fire started in a bottom floor apartment. Fryer had to crawl on the floor to get out.
Yeah, trying to stay below the smoke because it was so thick. I couldn't even see 2 feet in front of me.
Residents tell us smoke was all throughout the building.
What happened? I heard the alarm off and I saw the thick smoke in the hallway.
In all, 6 people had to be transported for smoke inhalation. A woman was taken hours after the fire when she had trouble breathing while sitting at a restaurant across the street. A Raleigh police officer also went to the hospital. Fryer wonders if it was the same officer who he saw go into the building by himself.
He put his gas mask on and he went in and you came out and you got, by what I hear, you got a few people out of there.
Those efforts are significant, especially on a day when winter weather made it difficult for other first responders to arrive.
And it's one reason we make sure we amp up our response early on, because we know that it takes the resources a little bit longer to get here.
And knowing that, it makes residents that much more appreciative of the first officer on the scene.
I know that they're really out there to help us.
And late tonight, firefighters confirmed that first officer who responded was the officer who was taken to the hospital, though we're told that none of the injuries are life-threatening. Firefighters also tell us at this point they've been unable to determine how exactly this fire started. The Red Cross, meanwhile, is helping those people who were displaced find a new place tonight. Deborah?
Boy, that officer, a real hero.
Yeah.
Glad he was there. Thank you,
All right,
Bo.
Boy, this weather's caused problems all around the area in many different ways, Greg.
Yes, it has, and it's going to continue to do so overnight because temperatures simply aren't going anywhere. But we will most definitively get above freezing tomorrow, and that will take care of the whole thing. Really hope that we can not only melt this stuff, but we can also dry it up, you know, so that we don't have any problems with refreezing tomorrow night. So we will hope that that is indeed the case. Let's go on ahead and take a look at what's going on, or what went on earlier today. Some of the more impressive snow and rainfall amounts and ice amounts that we saw. About 1 inch of snow in Halifax, unofficially up to 3 inches around Roanoke Rapids. The RDU airport having about 0.15 of an inch of ice, and then Clayton and Fuquay and a few other places piled up about 0.3 of an inch of sleet during the course of the day. The winter weather advisory remains in effect for most of the area. It's not because anything more is falling. It's just due to the fact that the roads are very icy and the current temperatures are going to do nothing to help that overnight. And so the ice remains overnight into the early morning, but definitive improvement as we head on through the day. Right now, temperatures are not varying much. Usually when we have significant winter storms here, you'll see a pretty good amount of temperature contrast from southeast to northwest, but we don't really have that this time. One of the reasons is that when these cold air damming situations set up where the shallow, cool air gets trapped east of the mountains, we have a northeast wind. Today, we had a south to southeast wind, and it's very unusual to have a major winter event here with a southerly breeze, but we pulled it off today. All right, as we take a look at projected temperatures starting at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, it'll be below freezing, way below freezing up here. But then as we head through the morning and by noontime, temperatures in the mid-30s to around 40, and then we think maybe even a little bit better than this tomorrow afternoon. We're actually shooting for mid-40s. The only thing that could hold it back is that in this kind of situation, a lot of the sun's energy goes into melting the ice and the sleet and all of that, as opposed to heating the ground. It has to get rid of the ice first before it can concentrate on heating the ground up, and that could hold temperatures back just a little bit. And then tomorrow night, we go back down into the 20s, so it's critical that we dry this stuff up tomorrow so we don't have any problems on Sunday morning. And then Sunday, one more really chilly day before we start the big warm-up, and we'll talk more about that in just a second. Here's the satellite and the radar mosaic. The precipitation that was bothering us earlier is now well out at sea. It really didn't disappear here. It's just that it's out of range of the radars, and so you can't see it like you can when it's over land, and the radars can see it clearly. And then if we broaden the view, not a whole lot going on across the United States right now, so it doesn't look like any big storms heading our way for at least 4 or 5 days. All right, here's the temperature pattern with the isobars on here, and I'll try to help make some sense of this as we head on through time. But we put things into motion, and you'll notice that the blue colors hang around here right on through the weekend. So not bitterly cold, but still below normal for this time of year. Then, as we head on into Monday, that's going to be the transition day. And this closed circle out here represents an area of high pressure. Let's see if I can draw that looking better than a kindergartner. And the clockwise flow around that, giving us a southwesterly flow. Now, the cold air in place will fight that for a little bit, so we won't warm up completely on Monday, but certainly milder than it's been. And then look what happens as we head on into Tuesday. Oh, the yellows and the oranges come northward, and by the time we get to Tuesday, temperatures could Wednesday easily be 70 or better. However, look at what the isobars are doing here in western North Carolina on Wednesday, okay? Here's the next cold front running right where those isobars bend, and behind that, green, blue, dark blue, purple, white. Look where those isobars are coming from, all the way from northern Canada down into the lower Mississippi River Valley. That is going to be a dramatic cold frontal passage next Wednesday evening, going from 70-degree warmth to, once again, a solid shot of Arctic air coming in late next week. All right, forecast for tonight. Temperatures holding nearly steady with the ice still out there. Same thing when you wake up tomorrow morning, but then partly sunny in mid-40s tomorrow afternoon should do the trick. Then on Sunday, a little colder, a little mini shot of cold air. Monday, the transition day. And then we really warm up as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. I could see Wednesday being in the low to perhaps even mid-70s. And then the turn to colder weather Thursday and Friday could be even sharper than what you see there.
Nice. Boy, you love the drama.
Why are you doing this to us?
I know.
I'm a bad man.
I really appreciate Wednesday. It looks great. But
oh, no problem.
All right.
Still ahead, the ice proved too much for some drivers in Raleigh. We have an update out at RDU. A lot of planes are backed up on the runway for de-icing. They're having to wait more than an hour, and there's really no way to speed up the process. The good news is very few flights are still scheduled to take off tonight, so everyone should be off the ground before too much longer. 6 flights are canceled tomorrow already. They are suggesting you go ahead and call your airline before you go to the airport in the morning if you have a flight.
All right, drivers on Wade Avenue in Raleigh had some tough issues this afternoon with a particular hill as the ice and the sleet rolled in.
Take a look at this video Jonah Kuttner sent to us. Cars spinning out, sliding across the roadway. Very hilly area, so very difficult to navigate this area today.
A helpless feeling there when you're sliding on ice like that.
Oh, absolutely. At least it didn't look like anybody hit each other at that point anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the roads are proof enough of how cold it is out there, but just in case you need more, take a look at how frozen the WRAL fountain has become.
That's right, that's our fountain mountain. Looks like a couple of polar bears there playing in the water. You gotta look real close though to see that, but you know, it's
actually quite artistic.
Yeah, it's gotta be real cold for that fountain.
It does.
For a while.
Yeah.
You know,
But the ice that we like to see are what the hockey players skate on.
And they did very well tonight.
Yeah.
Very well. And tomorrow we've got the big thaw guaranteed. State and Carolina. They'll heat things up. And what a night in goal it was for Canes backup goalie Dan Ellis, plus a first for one of the new Hurricanes. Next.